So I'm out here tinkering with the next kind of it's less of a Jeep project and more of a trying to get my bearings on what's happening and everything. As you remember, I have drilled multiple holes to allow me to take my fridge from this position to this position to like the central position. And so decided to try out all of my canisters. I have fuel canisters and I have water jugs. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 6-gallon water containers, and I had 6 fuel cans from last time, and also bought me an extra one. And what I have found, now mind you, I've bought this before any of this was even a thing. What I have found, believe it or not, it actually fits. So I am somewhat surprised, to be honest with you. And I am also a little bit confused. So what's happening now is, obviously for weight distribution, it would make sense to have the fridge in the middle and then have canisters on either side. But here's the problem. I have an extra row of canisters that I need, and I can't take it out. So the damage for this, of having this much weight on one side, it means that the entire Jeep is going to be all cattywampus. But it would really only be done to fill my motorhome, for one. So the canisters, at least for fuel, are going to be empty. I don't know. I'm also not particularly too happy to have fuel tanks next to the fridge, regardless of where it sits. And so if I do move the fridge, so you might be wondering, why don't I surround the fridge with water instead of the fuel cans? Well, imagine you pull up to the gas station, you put down the tailgates. You have to get every single one of the fuel cans out of there with a whole bunch of pissed off off-roaders and worldly travelers. Been there, done that. So on my Tacoma, I had water, basically the way it was, because I had far more going at the time. I had plastic storage totes in the back, all the way to the ceiling. And then I had one row of water, which was the second row, and one water of fuel, which was here, so that I could quickly take it out, put it on the ground, and fill it. Apparently it's illegal to fill it here. So I can't take my fuel cans and stick them all the way to the back. Which is unfortunate, but is what it is, I guess. So this row up here, I could actually move my water jugs that way to put water next to the fridge. Or maybe I could just leave it as is. I don't know. But either way, wanted to see if I could at least, put this here. So this, the water, in case you're wondering, that's for the motorhome that's over there. So when I'm boondocking out in the desert, as you might imagine, which is difficult to believe because I'm in, Florida here, surrounded by palm trees and whatever, right? Considering how much of a pain in the ass it is to procure water and fuel over there. Another thing that I'm a little bit concerned about is this over here. But I guess that's rectifiable. I could always put something here to, help me with that. The good news is that everything fits. The bad news, it doesn't fit how I want it. Fridge could move, about 1.5 feet or so. So it would be sitting like there-ish, meaning that canisters would be on both sides. But I have 3 rows of canisters instead of 4. And here's the worst part. If I was to take out canisters and not take them with me, like let's say this entire row, I know for a fact I will regret it horribly. So for context, this over here is like 55 gallons worth of fuel. So 6 is almost like half of the tank. And half of the tank means that I don't have to make giant detours in the middle of nowhere to fill up the gas. So considering that I never arrive to anywhere with less than a quarter of a tank, it means that upon filling this, I should have at least 3/4 of a tank, which in theory should get me anywhere. So in full transparency, I would love to have an additional gas can, like another one of these. But I just don't have enough space. So I'm standing here cogitating all of this. Meanwhile, I'm getting my motorhome ready. I had a huge project with my AC during the hurricane. This AC over here, the mini split, there were issues. Freon leaked out. I had to change out pipes. So getting ready for the season, as they say. So now, at least I know that. Oh, by the way, those of you that have IceCo, I don't know if this is just unique to mine or what. This over here never goes to that. So I don't know if this is faulty, the monitor itself, or there's supposed to be like an internal thing on some models and it's not. I have 50 amp hours of lithium on this side and on that side, so there's 100 amps and 300 watts of solar up over there. So this sucker is it shouldn't be out of power. Anyways, but like with temperatures of 92 or so, it's, as you see, maintaining 34 and 38. So I've noticed that this chamber on this side, the one that has like less space in it, cools more than the other side, despite the fact that both of them are now set to the same temperature. But whatever. This thing, oh my gosh, you have no idea how amazing this thing is. Just be able to put things into your fridge at the grocery store and be able to do other things is such a much needed change. Alright, but back onto this. I have to think about how I want to do this. I'm almost tempted to just leave it as is. And that's it. So water in the canisters is going to be coming and going. I know for a fact I'm going to be going through water, at least based on the previous trip. Like one of these per week or so. I'm talking about like all 8 cans. So yeah, now this is going to be used for the haul between Moab and the Needles District, and Needles District to at a bare minimum Monticello. It's all in the eastern Utah, because there's no fuel in needles. And the one gas station sells it for like $1 bazillion a gallon, and it's of horrible quality. So that's assuming they even have it in stock. So I don't know, but at least I know that this fits. Thankfully, I don't need to store anything here other than this, and I'm just relieved. Now it's just a question of securing cargo and everything like that. Like this, I don't care if it wobbles, but I do have solar equipment on that side that needs to be protected. And this is a bigger concern to me because that, doing this, is going to damage the fridge, so I need to address that as well. So as you can see, the fridge is off. I ran into a bit of an issue. It appears, being parked here, and the way the sun is, it's not giving this enough daylight. So the way my schedule is, despite having solar, being somewhat in the shade, it will eventually bleed my 250 watt batteries dry. So at first I was like, what the heck, right? So then I read about this doohickey, and I've talked about this quite some length. I couldn't fathom what that meant. In the manual it actually says safety protocol, you know, of where you want this to cut off, and it still did that. So my next thing that I did was I've disconnected my extender for TST tire pressure monitoring system for the trailers, and then I've taken this. Now in normal application this is connected to an ignition source, so this is off, but the way I had it run for like several weeks to at least a month and a half now is this was always on, and so was this. So it doesn't really do me any good. And then looking at this charge controller, number one, the color schemes, they don't make any sense whatsoever. The orange color never appeared. There was more like yellow. So what was happening, apparently, because of how my schedule was, I would recharge entire battery bank on Monday and Tuesday. It would start depleting on Wednesday, and Thursday I'm in the office again, so it recharges it, and then I'm at home Friday, Saturday, Sunday, dealing with, you know, working from home and just regular things. And apparently that's basically all it takes. So I've ran tests on the batteries that I bought for this from ICO, and each one of them lasts for about 10 hours or so, more or less. So the two of them would be 500 watts, so two of them would be equivalent to this, one of these, right? So theoretically two of these would be equivalent of the 4 batteries, right? And so just mathematically speaking, it looks like this just ran it dry between this being on and that being on and this vehicle parked in the shade. And what's happening is, when you go to the sun, these things over here have a particular charge rate to how much they're willing to crank out. In full sun, that's about 6.5 amps, more or less. And so what would happen is it would just run into this perpetual deficit over the weekend. So I got sick and tired of looking at lights that don't make any sense whatsoever. I picked up Renogy Adventure on sale. Just a bit of advice. Feel free to stalk Amazon, because you could scoop up really good deals. So this was like 50% off. So as you see, this is now with display and all this jazz, and you could see that like right now it's pulling 0.6 amps per hour. This over here is pulling obviously much more than that, so that's why it kept running into the deficit. The reason why I needed to get all of this figured out is because in the background there's so much happening that I haven't addressed, and I need everything to work. I was this close, like not even this close, like that close. You could slide a piece of paper in there, of buying myself another Jeep Gladiator. There's a lot of things happening in the background that I'm not particularly, I don't know how to, you know what, I'm just gonna, yeah. So one of the ideas that I was kicking around is to take this Jeep and this motorhome, which I'm also working with and living it in Grand Junction, Colorado. Basically, so I could fly there, and that way I wouldn't have to drive across the country every time. And when I say every time, I mean I've only done it once. And I'm in the middle of packing for my trip that's coming up in just a little bit, as a matter of fact. So I'm gonna be starting the series on that. After I got like 2 seconds away from making a decision to buy another vehicle, I'm not in the right frame of mind to be making financial decisions like that at the moment. So I decided to go on the trip, come back, let me cool my beans, I guess you could call it that, and address what needs to be addressed. So I am going to be probably with like 97% probability buying myself another Jeep Gladiator, and keeping that either here and driving it, or taking this one and keeping it here and taking the other one over there. There's a lot of things I can't address at the moment, but this a possibility turned into a necessity going forward. But there's just too much, too soon, too many things happening all at once. So this has been addressed. I've been letting solars to basically recharge the batteries to full, etc, etc, etc. So eventually I'm gonna turn this back on again. Yeah, so this is Jeep related wise. Everything else is more or less wired. There's only 2 out of 8 things here wired up. I'm just gonna let it be. I'll deal with it after I come back and figure out what else needs to be figured out. My crazy plan with the rock lights, I may actually pull the plug on it. I don't know yet. That's why I pre-wired it and just let it. These things in testing, oh my gosh, and you know, the ones up front, this is just such a, I can't even describe how amazing this is, in terms of like you crank the switch and you have full visibility all around your truck. The impact of running rooftop tent, now that I've had this thing on my Jeep for quite some time, believe it or not, it has 0 impact on fuel mileage, like 0. I have no idea how and why. It's running, like my Jeep previously was running 17.1, 17.2 miles to a gallon. It still runs 17.1, 17.2 miles to a gallon. I am not doing anything about the tires. I'm just, I want to put 35s. I obviously wanted to put 37s, but those of you that know anything about Jeeps know how much of a pain in the ass, etc. Because there's other things you gotta do. I need to put 2 orange covers up here. I haven't done that yet. Those are for fog driving. So, all right. Now on to this. One of the things that I had to do was completely redo and teach myself how to do the stupid air conditioning. So I had to completely take and disassemble all of this, rerun copper hoses. Taught myself, #YouTube certified, on how to charge this properly with gauges and everything like that. Clean up all this horrible mess that was here. I still need to fix this just a smidge somehow, but this up here looks like 100% better than it was before. I'll give you, like, it's still not beautiful, but it's doing its job. Everything here and in the motorhome has been more or less packed. There's still some odds and ends that need to be addressed, and yeah. So my problem so far is this doesn't work. So historically, my generator, this is a Onan 4000. By the way, piece of advice: if you're getting yourself an RV, don't bother with generators. This, like, it's just so easier to buy one at Harbor Freight, connect your wire, and just run it that way, honestly. Because, like, this thing, because I'm getting somebody to come out. I could do it myself, but I want to learn from somebody who does it professionally, more or less. The carburetor needs to be replaced. I've already ordered. As a matter of fact, it should be here today. This thing runs, the carb is clogged, and that's why I hate generators, because they always clog. And that's with me putting fuel stabilizers and all this other crap. As you see over there, there's 646 hours on the generator, and that thing purrs like a kitten when it runs. So anyways, mind you, like, the worst part about it is that I have literally serviced it not even 6 months ago, and it was running all this stuff. So that has to be replaced. That's gonna happen this weekend. Everything else more or less is good. Before my trip, I need to clean solar panels up on the roof. I've already had all of my tires replaced with all-terrain tires. That way I'm not doing it for the off-road, and they're on all tires plus the spare, so it's 7 tires. This isn't for, like, running off-road by any stretch of imagination, but this is just so that I have more flexibility to put my wheels on the grass and not get stuck, kind of thing. So there's that. Everything else, I'm supposed to be leaving. I'll keep those dates to myself for time being, but feel free to follow. I'm gonna do the same thing as I did last time, which is film my vlogs as I'm going, and then when the time comes, I'll edit the videos and whatever, because I don't want to do it while I'm, I just want to enjoy my trip, especially after everything that's been happening. So the goal now, and this is, like, I wanted to do it on this trip, I wanted to leave this motorhome and that Jeep in Colorado and buy myself another Jeep, but just the math ain't mathing. The stars are not in the right places, despite me having funds and all this stuff. is just too much too soon, and I don't want to be making horrible mistakes when I'm in this weird state of mind. Maybe I'll talk about it later. That's kind of it. So I foresee myself, if I do buy myself another Jeep, it's gonna be a base model, Gladiator Sport 2025 model, and I'll take the tires out of here, with wheels obviously, because those are 33s, and probably put it on the new vehicle, I think, maybe, or something of the sort. You know what I mean. So yes, I'm about as ready as I can be. I still have some time to keep tinkering and dealing with things. Word of advice, if you're doing solar and everything like that, just bite the bullet and get yourself something with a digital display, because at least that way you're more in tune with what's happening. This is not going to tell you how much you've depleted your batteries. For that, you have to install like a Victron battery management system, which I have, but I'm too lazy to install. I probably will, when I come back, connect it to the studs over there. Oh, one more thing to address, this being off, as you see. I've put that and that, so basically when I connect those two, that over there turns on. So oh, another thing that I've done, and I don't have it here, I have it in storage in my garage, because I'm gonna have water jugs and fuel cans here. I wanted to protect this over here from splashing, and I wanted to protect all of this over here from splashing. So I've taken the polycarbonate that came with those from Harbor Freight, and because I've connected two greenhouses end to end, I had extra panels. So there's going to be one going like this, and there's going to be one going like that, and one going like this. This is just to prevent splashing, not to hold it in any getting all my camera equipment ready, all the everything else ready. It's gonna be a whirlwind over trip, so I'm targeting 3 weeks, and that includes the trip there and back. I know, this is just the crazy part about it. 3 weeks is basically giving me 5 days to get there, 5 days to get back, and like 10 days there on a whirlwind tour. Yeah, so this is kind of the reason why, and it kills me. It really hurts my heart that I can't leave this there while I'm there, because I'm gonna have to trek back there again pretty darn soon, I guess, in context of time. And I am so not looking forward to having to drive that distance again. But you know what I mean. So we're gonna tackle this and tackle that and tackle everything else. And I just wanted to clear my mind and address all that other brouhaha later down the road. So right now my goal is to just go. Alright, till next time. Alright, so given that I am documenting wins and losses, my little kerfuffle with the batteries is continuing. So my first mistake is that I spend money where I feel it's warranted. I don't spend money on those trial and test projects, and I think I need to break that habit. So with the sun coming out, so I'll talk to this effect over here. When you go on Amazon and look for lithium batteries, right? You know, of course you have those cheaper ones, and people have mixed reviews, and people talk about them failing and all this other stuff, right? And you look at the number of people talking about, and you know, it will be like 5% negative and the rest are positive kind of thing. This battery, for context, is about $89, so $90, right? And I have two of them. Combined, they should give me 100 amp hours, which in theory should run this fridge at 77 degrees inside the house. And this was my fault number one. When I bench tested IceCo batteries on exactly the same settings, right? I've done that in my house, and inside my house is 77 degrees. Here in Florida, temperatures are obviously higher, and especially outside, and especially up here under the camper shell. So what's happening is the temps here are 88 plus degrees, which means that this thing has to run more. And I don't know whether because it has to run more to stay cooler, or whether it's something wrong with the batteries. So what's happening is, even on days when it's not that hot, like it's just, you know, it's not, I don't know how to describe it. So like yesterday, for example, I thought maybe my panels failed or something, or maybe the fuse over there blew or something, right? So I disconnected, started testing it, and unfortunately, as you see, like right now I have blue sky. Yesterday clouds rolled in, so it was difficult to test, but I was testing volts and amps and all this other crap. And so when I parked the truck back to where it is right now, so, like, here's a good example. If you see where the sun is, right? It's right there, okay? Summertime, that's where the sun is. Wintertime, the sun is over there. So, in all of my testing, the sun was there shining, like, this way, right? Now, sun is there. It's blocked by that tree. It's blocked by this tree. I have just a smidge of sun over here, and then it's completely blocked over there. So what's happening is, as sun is passing, it's like this place is almost never in the sun in the way that it used to be. And you could see it by the shade over there, right? See? Right there. Anywho. So I've been trying to ascertain whether my batteries are crap. I know it's not the charge control because I've already changed that. And I've already tested the panels. So right now, it's you could see the you could see what it's doing. It's charging at 1.2 amps with this kind of sun, which is rising still. So the jury is still out. Now, for context, I have battle-born batteries over there, and I am pondering whether I need to, like, let's just assume that the batteries are bad. What are my options? I could get high-quality batteries, right, which cost a whole ton of money, or I could put a like a Jackery power station here. Now, a Jackery power station, I know for a fact, is like a workhorse, and you know, I have like 5 of them. But the thing is, I have one plus all the crazy battery banks from Jackery for like 5K system, or maybe 3K system, I forgot what it was. Yeah, probably 3K for hurricanes, because after this last one, when my generators failed, which is the guy that's coming to fix this over there, is the one who got me running last time, and I've only lost $6,000 worth of fish instead of everything. So I've learned my lesson. I got me a whole bunch of power stations. Right now I am taking 4 with me over there to charge my drones, despite the fact that I have like a bazillion watts of solar. I wanted to test that for all sorts of reasons. So theoretically speaking, if I was to put a power station here somewhere, like let's say the batteries are bad, right? That power station could be wired into the system, and bada bing, bada boom, everything kind of works. It just means that I'll just, chug the batteries here. I don't know if they're bad. I have very unfortunately allowed them to run low once, theoretically, and I don't know if it's been running low continuously and running out of juice a whole bunch of times, because when I noticed it, the fridge was off, and I look at the fridge quite often, so I don't know. It just happened like 2 weeks ago, and that's when the thing started. I don't know, I'm all over the place and confused, and I'm just sharing what my issues are. So overnight, I went to sleep. Well, I parked let me put it this way. I parked the truck here at 6 o'clock in the evening, and then late in the evening I went to Walmart to stock up some stuff for my trip, came back here and parked it, and I'm just going to assume that it was about 12.8 volts, which this is lithium, which means that by that point it was already draining. So this morning it was 12.2, and so it's 12.3 now. So this to me says that whatever, through the night, the temps were obviously less than 77 degrees in my house. Outside here, it was less than 77 degrees. And it still drained half a volt out of the battery bank. And I don't know if that's okay, because if it is, I'll just leave it as is. But if there's something wrong with the batteries, I need to address this, because if I get to the point where this pickup truck is going to be left out there, I need this crap to work. So that's the downside to this whole thing. Anyways, secondary to that, unrelated, or maybe related to some point, as you see, I have all of this stuff, right? And if I'm gonna be leaving my motorhome and my truck out west long term, I'm going to cover them. So I have a cover here, which unfortunately did not survive the hurricane on that corner, so I had to replace the cover. It's still in the box, but I know it's hurricane proof, all things considering, right? So I got similar type thing for the Jeep. Now, as you see, I have the camper shell and I have a rooftop tent. Now, this cover is designed for a truck with just the camper shell. So I'm expecting when I put this on, it will more than probably sit very high. So I'm about to test it. I'm gonna put it on and immediately take it off. And second to that is because I'm gonna be testing this exactly as it would be out west, I can't use things that I don't have with me. So what I have is I have a ladder over there with a white step stool that I'm gonna bring next to here and use that to cover the truck. That way I know for a fact that the equipment that I have with me, my goal is to figure out how easy it is and how long over time it takes. As you see, I've already changed one antenna. This 6 dBi antenna is easy to take on and off, so I'll just unscrew it and we'll just see. I do have somewhat of a concern. There's some sharp corners in places, like certainly these and most definitely those. So I don't want my 100 and whatever it costs, $50-$60 thing ripping up my tarp. So yeah, I'll have to improvise a little bit. I'm more concerned about like these over there than anything else. I know for a fact that they're sharp. Anyways, so I'll let me do that and then I'll get back to you. Alright, well, it looks like my batteries are dead. I became a statistic of the voltage actually went down. Very unfortunate. You could see over here how the battery bank is that's not good. See? Alright, so I have good news, bad news, and also good news. So the cover that I got basically fits, with exception of, I mean, obviously it's not designed to have a rooftop tent and all this other stuff, but it does the job. So this is from Car Pros, or whatever they're called. I have found, because I taped off sharp corners, this over here I haven't. This is a brake controller switch doohickey right up front, so I'm gonna have to engineer something for that. Very easy to install. Obviously, if I didn't have a rooftop tent, this would go smooth as silk. So this is the ladder that is in the motorhome, and given that this plus the motorhome allegedly will be left in storage eventually, this is the tool that I needed to test it on, and everything is working. So the only thing that I really need now is just to be able to put some rope around this and just call it a day. This isn't to, protect it from every possible weather element. This is just to keep, the rain off of it and whatever. Alright, so that's the good news. Another good news, generator over there has been fixed. I need to actually crank it and run it for like an hour. It was like a 4-man operation over there. Bad news, the batteries completely failed. So I went ahead and placed an order. Decided to go with higher quality batteries this time. I think it's very unfortunate. I'm obviously frustrated, as you might imagine, but the voltage have dropped, I think, to like 6. Dealing with my neck and back issues again, so pardon my weird appearance. So over there, if I was to open the door, you'd see that the voltage on the battery is 6, and that's not a 6-volt battery. So considering how easy this is to put up and take up and down, so this takes just a few minutes of my time. That is a royal pain in the ass. There's really no easy way of doing it. Surprisingly, it goes. It's super duper easy to take it off than it is to put in. So Like, to take it off is like 30 seconds of your time, maybe a minute at the most, to cover that. Considering that I've already had to do it like a whole bunch of times, I could probably do it in about 20 minutes ish, more or less. So between that and that, so here we go. Hopefully I'm gonna get my batteries before my trip, because I kind of sort of need them. Worst case scenario, I'll just won't use this fridge. But like I said, I am disappointed that this is the case, but is what it is. So this whole thing comes in a fancy bag, right over there. And let me go ahead and take it off and continue on with my day. Alright, so here I am, once again trying to figure things out. I'm trying to replicate what I had on my previous trip, less all sorts of additions. So if you followed me on my previous trip, you know that I had a whole bunch of plastic totes, and yeah. So one of the biggest problems on the last trip was that my recovery boards were all the way in the back, and I didn't have these things opening up. So anyways, since then I have a different camper shell with things opening up on either side. Yes. So my first thought was to make them more accessible. And believe it or not, I actually bought all the necessary hardware to mount them. And because I have literally redone my entire plan, originally speaking, it's not gonna work. And I can't mount them to top of my rooftop tent for two reasons. One is the T-slots don't match the hardware, and two, I have solar panels on there. So anyways, so I thought long and hard. I actually even tried to put them like right there in that space, but the problem is it's very difficult to stack them in there and tie them off, more importantly. So that was kind of I spent several hours trying to tinker with that. So what I've done is I've put 4 of them up here. Now, if you remember, I used to have 4 green ones. I've ordered 2 red ones because I've lost one somewhere in St. Augustine. Anyways, the 3rd one is right there. So I found them a place back where they used to be, originally speaking. Worst case scenario, I hope I'm not gonna need them for anything, but at least this time they're more accessible. So a couple of more things happening. I had to eliminate 2 water containers, and you have no idea how much it pains me. Every drop of water is precious. I'm not trying to be all philosophical here. I'm just saying, generally speaking. So I have 2 containers over here that I don't have a place for. Now, because of these, everything here slid forward, which means I can't put a 3rd row with an extra fuel can that's also staying behind. And these 2. I am not happy about this at all. The only possible way I could rectify this is if I take these out, which I may still do, I don't know, and slide these back this way, and then somehow engineer a solution by which I put all 4 boards on top here. I still haven't ruled that out, but then another problem. On previous trip, to dispose of garbage, I had to just put my garbage bag on top of everything here. And I may or may not have had multiple bags rupture and trash everywhere. And so I bought the cheapest Walmart plastic bin so I could drop bags in here, which means that this space is actually more important to me in that way. I think it's very unfortunate, but there is a possibility, however slim, that I will somehow engineer a way to put these like there somehow. I'll still need a little bit more time to play with it. There's a very high likelihood that that box is coming out and that box comes out, but I'm not gonna be able to store water in this thing over here. I may actually be able to put it over there. Still playing with it. As a matter of fact, let's do it live and see if I got incredibly lucky and maybe somehow well it fits in there, right? But it does this number, all because there's a wheel well, and other than putting something over there like 2x4s or something so it doesn't fall this way. See what it's doing? Maybe I do need to put some 2x4s in there. Anyways, so I may actually be able to transport like this up here has 100% more priority to me than an extra fuel can. I'm not gonna be doing off-roading on this trip at all. Well, I guess you could call it off-roading in on one trail. Basically get into an overlook. But water is far more important to me on this trip. Far more important. And the fuel primarily is for the motorhome, less for the truck. So losing an extra 5 gallons of fuel is, oh, I'm not happy about that. I'll keep tinkering. If I get lucky, I may be able to finagle this somehow. Maybe put the bin in there if it fits or something. I don't know. Still playing with all of this, so I'll get back to you. Alright, so with some tinkering, this, although not pretty in the slightest, is exactly how it's going to be. So this over here have actually fit. What I've done is on the bottom I put some 2x4s. I'm not a particular fan of how this is pushing all the canisters, but once there's going to be water and fuel and everything, more, I guess I'm gonna take it out and just lay it on its side so that everything actually stands upright. Alright, now this is to prevent splashing on the fridge and anywhere else. Based on my previous trip, I was doing all sorts of off-roading. So yes, on this trip, I'm really only doing like one trail, and if I had to guess, it's probably rated like a 1, maybe 1.5 at the most. In any event, so we're gonna take this out for time being. Just lay it up here. Water all through here. This guy is up here. I foresee that this and that board, and probably even that board, will start cracking pretty soon. If it does, no big deal. I buy the cheapest ones for a reason, because easy to replace, also easy to lose. One thing, when you lose, like when a pair of these cost like $300 versus a pair of these cost $40, right? So I've added some 2x4s over there to kind of just keep it there. So you might be wondering, why am I doing all of this? Like, why put so much effort into what you're gonna find on trips like this is that you want everything to be, like, see how this is shielding everything from here? You're gonna find that everything needs to be convenient and fast. If you have to pour water in there, there's going to be a whole bunch of people in front of you and behind you who are very irate, who want to get, and cut in line and all these other things. So you want to be quick. If you have to fuel, right, everything has to be accessible. Apparently you can't fill them up here. You have to put them on the ground. So those have to be, accessible that way. And more importantly, be able to put it that way as well. Water. The way the water situation is, there's really only like one place in Moab when you could. I think there's a couple more places in like Green River and other places like that where you could fill up water. So water is important, and water is necessary for the motorhome over there. Right? So that has to be considered. And as I'm pouring water in, all of these are open, and I have a hose basically just goes into one, into another one, another one, another one, another one, another one, and so on and so forth. So everything has to be nice and quick. This is going to work after I change out the batteries. This is just pitiful. Look at this. So what's happening right now is the charge controller is basically blocking any kind of solar to the batteries, because they're not, like right now they're 11.7. They were as low as 8. I have no idea what the hell is wrong with them, but whatever. So there's really not much left to be done up here in terms of all of this. I'm about to disassemble all of this and bring it back into the garage. I'm mocking everything up, making sure everything is right where I want it. I am not going to be using rooftop tent on this trip, but I do plan to take the ladder with me and just see what it's like. I may even spend the night in there. I don't know. We'll see. Motorhome is about as packed as you could possibly pack it, with all sorts of doodads and whatnots. Generator has been fixed. Yeah. Alright. I'll provide an update when I deal with the batteries and everything. Okie dokie. So here's another mini update on this thing. Underneath my rooftop tent, you could see how I have that. So that is the ladder for rooftop tent. I'm not even gonna bother putting it inside, because I've added the thicker mattress, and I neither want it imprinted on my mattress nor any of that stuff. So what I've done is I just laid it here. Surprisingly, this ladder weighs like a ton. Like, whoa, dude, seriously. But I've measured some straps, laid this out there. It's not supposed to be going anywhere even without the straps, because it's contained by the box of all the metal. Like, you would literally have to probably be upside down for it to even fall out of there. So I have cleared all of this inside. As you see, boom. So I'm gonna wait for the batteries to arrive. Crazy. The voltage on the battery now reads 12.1. I have no idea what the hell's wrong with those things, but whatever. It's not a risk I'm willing to take. They're going bye-bye, both of them. Very disappointing, but it is what it is, I guess. Other than that, this thing is kind of sort of getting there. Like I mentioned before, I need to swap out. So this I'm gonna do at the very last second before I leave. Orange covers, and then these ones are coming off. Crazy stuff. You know, here, let me flip the camera. So the crazy part about this is the second rodeo in a couple of years. I think it's been like 4, going on 5 years since I've gone out west. I've learned a lot of lessons on my last trip out there. I'm trying to kind of mitigate any possible thing. So 99% of this is preparation, and then I'm just gonna have to roll with it, and that's probably the most terrifying part. So one thing I am absolutely not doing, and I've done the same thing last time as well, do absolutely nothing in the last week. Nothing goes in, nothing changes, nothing, anything. So all of the everything that had to have been done with both the motorhome and the Jeep is going to be done no later than this weekend. After that, it's one more weekend. Not this Saturday, but the next one. Lights action, as they say. I don't know. Just one of those things where you have to come to peace with things being right or wrong. The weird thing is, I'm not even nervous. I'm more like annoyed, and I don't understand why. I think I may have just discovered why I'm annoyed. Tell me I am stupid without telling me I am stupid. This, I rode for 30 miles. Right there. I have almost lost my antenna. Now, my GMRS was turned off, so I didn't burn anything. But I'm surprised it hasn't fallen off. See, it's stuff like that. The other day, over the weekend, I caught myself driving off with a coffee cup. I kid you not, I placed it right there. It hasn't fallen off. So this is the reason why in the last couple of weeks you're not allowed to do anything really, because that's when you start, because you've already like mentally exhausted yourself. You start making mistakes, like really stupid mistakes, you know? Because like, for example, if this antenna would have fallen off, I would have no GMRS antenna. Yeah. I don't know. I think this is it for this Jeep series. Like, I'm about as ready as I humanly can be to this whole thing. So nothing is going to happen to the Jeep. This is it. I think what I'll do is I'll recompose myself for the weekend and actually start my vlog on actual motorhome and just the logistics behind it, maybe somewhat. And on this mentally exhausted note, I'm gonna leave you until next time. Alright, well, since we're in the business of making all sorts of changes and all this stuff, watch the other vlog about the happenings. So I'm having to reimagine a whole bunch of things. I'm taking less water canisters with me, less fuel canisters with me, and I'm changing things out. One of the things that went out was the battery. This one is coming out next, and then the Renogy deep cycle is going in. This is not coming with me, despite the fact that I could fit it there. This is more important to me than this, and I can't believe I'm even saying that. Those are brand new kayaks, the ones that are here. You could see the difference between those two versus that, in terms of safe space, you know. So space savings, that's what I meant. I'm so tired, I can't even talk straight. So what's happening is these are not going to be in use for quite, and because they're not going to be in use for quite some time, I don't care if they're in a box, you know, all these other things. This is just taking too much space. I have no idea how I'm going to handle this when the time comes to actually use them, because they never pack so nicely ever again. Yeah. So what I'll do is kind of give you a 2-second tour. The new battery is going there. This one is coming out along with this whole brouhaha. The water containers, they are in the back. That stays the same, minus 2 additional ones. So I'm only taking 6 instead of 8. The recovery boards are still going in. The fuel containers, I'm taking less. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 25 gallons worth of fuel, which is about half of tank to my motorhome. And basically 1.5-ish full fill-ups on the Jeep. I very, very seriously wish I could take this with me. Just can't. Unless I could figure out a way how to shove this over there without impeding this, I don't see how. You know what, let's try this. I doubt it. I very seriously doubt it. Yeah, it's not gonna work. Because despite the fact that I could fit it in there, I'm not gonna be able to slide the darn thing out. So this is for in-use scenario. So this trash can, just like on a scale of 1 through embarrassing, just how embarrassing this is. I wonder if you could. Nope. not gonna work. The other option is to just stick it like this. Maybe that's what I need to do, because that way this goes here. I have 6 fuel cans, and then this, like, I put the bag in it and I basically keep it there just long enough to bring it to throw the bag out. Look at that. Okay, problem solved. So I'm taking 6. Anyways, put the shower thing here. I'm probably gonna move it. I'm gonna find a place for all of this. In taking my battery off, this disconnected, so I'll probably connect it over there. This is to charge the I don't want to be keeping electrical stuff in there, so this is going to be used for the water pump that I'm gonna connect to those terminals over there when in use. So that is going here, and it's long enough so that when I get to charge power banks and everything like that, it's going to be here. So yes, it looks like I'm taking 30 gallons of fuel with me. So regrettably, I'm wasting all this space. I'm not okay with it, but I think I may have just figured out what I'm gonna do with it, because the cover for my Jeep and the cover for the motorhome is roughly about the space of this space. So theoretically, I could keep it there, but then I can't access my fridge. So this needs to be something super light and easily removable, so I may give it some thought. So here's a very interesting little tidbit of information. To my absolute shock, the Renogy battery fit the ammo can. I guess the dimensions on the website are completely wrong. I was all gung-ho about pulling it, you know, just like I removed this one, to install something over there to hold it, but lo and behold, I feel like I've been scammed, honestly. This is Renogy Deep Cycle Lithium Iron Phosphate Mini Core Battery. Okay, this is the garbage that you could buy on Amazon by Better Power Life PO4. I just want you to see this. See this? This is how heavy this is. Like this up here weighs probably 10 times less than that. Like that sucker is heavy. Like it feels like the whatever, I guess for lack of better words, I'm gonna call it cells. It feels like it's filled with whatever is there all the way up to the top. This doesn't weigh anything. So when I initially took it out of the box, I was like, what the hell is this? If I had to guess, you could probably, like, 10 of these weighs as much as that. So nonetheless, what I've done is I've connected this. Clearly I'm running out of daylight at this point. What I'll do is I'll tidy up and finish this out tomorrow. Overall decent progress as the whole thing continues, and this and that and the third. I also ordered the cutoff switches, so I'm gonna have a switch for the solar, and I'm gonna have a switch to the batteries. And oh, look at that, it's rating 13.2. Yes, so there's going to be some finagling with the wires and all this stuff. I also need to fill my water jugs, obviously, before I leave. I have a list of things that I'm doing, and I'm just knocking things off that list. The next thing to do would be to grab inflator pumps from one of these somewhere and put it up here. I have to figure out what to place here. Obviously, like, this is not you know, but I'll figure that out. Oh, just thought about something. Maybe I could squeeze this back. Well, probably not. I doubt it. Well, like, it fits there, but just barely. Let me try something. Just for kicks and giggles. Because this isn't bolted anymore. Let's see if that fits in there. Ooh, look at that. How about that? Okay. Well, see, I just figured out what to put there. Anyways, I am, just from a mental and physical state of mind, I am so exhausted, it is just ridiculous. I'm at that point where I'm a little bit delirious, and that's not a place where I'd like to be, because that's when you start making mistakes, which is why I have a list of the things that I need to do. This is my steady hand. So tomorrow I'll need to put the sheets of that plasticky material. Yeah, and then I'll have to play with this a little bit and figure out what goes where and stuff like that. But things are moving along, which is all good. I could probably rehab this somehow. I don't know, like, if this is even usable. But, I mean, like, honestly, look at this. I don't know how much this weighs. Like, if I had to guess, maybe 3 pounds. And that over there weighs probably like 25 pounds, if I had to guess. Just, anyways. So, as I was saying, this over here is going to be used for charging the battery banks. Because when I'm out, let's say I'm boondocking or something, overlanding, I will need me additional power to charge things. So this would be just perfect. But I'll deal with that tomorrow. Alright, see you tomorrow.